but like I'm not married.
Mm.
So the only thing that I take seriously is my work.
It's work, yeah.
It's my work. And maybe when I do get married, I'll be stressed out by other things. But like, for now, the work is the most important thing for me. Not that I don't want to be taken care of. Damsel. Hello, shout out to all the billionaires. I'm here.
It's 9 to live. It's 9 to live. It's 9 to live.
Hey there, 9 to Life community. We've got some exciting news to share. We've decided to celebrate in a big way. Drum roll, please. That's right. Throughout the entire month, we'll be releasing episodes featuring inspiring, trailblazing, and incredible women. We believe their voices deserve to be heard loud and clear.
And guess what? You, our awesome audience, will be a part of this amazing journey. Tag your favorite female leaders, mentors, or anyone who's been a driving force in your life. Let's make Women's Month an unforgettable celebration of empowerment. So tune in to 9 to Life every week in August for some outstanding conversation. Together, let's shine a spotlight on the incredible women who shape our world. Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey. Remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any empowering episodes. See you soon and happy Women's Day.
Any closing remarks?
Just do, you guys. You know, there's no rewind thing. There's no rewind button on this thing called life.
Yeah.
Like once it's done.
Who?
Indeed. Yeah, indeed, yes.
What?
Indeed.
No. I know the name from the MBA class, but I don't know.
Never met
No.
Why? Love it.
Can you please hook me up with him, because I would love to
And
go
I
for-
told him I was actually going to advertise his DJing service on the podcast.
Please.
So guys, please, if you want to learn how to DJ,
I really
you have a
wanna.
desire and you think you have the dance moves, because that's what it takes these days. You can't just DJ.
Yeah, you can't just
If you have the dance moves and you want to learn how to DJ, we'll put Ndondeni's number in the description or in the thing.
Bad.
Give him a call, speak to him. He's the best. I think he's the best DJ I know.
You know, and he gives lessons.
No, he's fantastic. Yeah,
Because
he's
the dream is, I think for me, I've seen the demand or the need in terms of corporate, right? Because sometimes I remember we were having this event at work and we had booked a certain DJ, I won't mention names, but he's a well-affluent known DJ. He was running like 1 hour late.
Hey.
So that's a 1 hour gap that we could have
that you
filled
could
in
have.
with somebody and saved the day, and you know.
And half each other, no,
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah, it's
Well,
fine.
well,
And you
just go back
still-
to where you were at. Okay.
There's opportunities. man.
Ndondeni was guest number.
Ndondeni was guest number 5.
So go and check out that episode.
Yeah.
But anyways, welcome to 9 to Life.
Welcome.
Once again, your career and lifestyle podcast where we interview the interesting people doing the things you'd like to do or the things you didn't even know you could. Today, we have Namhla Mbawuli. So that's the lady that was speaking. Energized already. What about that, Listen?
No, guys, welcome again to 9 to Life. Like we said, this is the podcast you do when you don't want to do podcasts. And Namhla did not want to do podcasts, but she's here. We are very happy to have you here.
Finally.
Finally, you are here. Yeah, hi.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. I'm finally here. Yo, can I just say, you guys can really make a person feel bad for not making this damn podcast. Yes.
So you put in so much work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
but don't feel bad. You're here now.
No, I'm
you're here now. Yeah.
So that back.
I'm here, be that as it may. I'm great, and I'm happy to be here. As you can see, I'm sorted.
Fantastic.
I think anyone who knows me, you've got the ideal setup.
Fantastic. I will take that compliment.
No.
You're doing well.
Thank you. Tell us about yourself, Namhla. Before we get into careers, we like to get to know our people.
God, is that how you ask
Where they
me to
are
put in a
from.
podcast?
Yes, no, we are in podcast
Guys,
mode.
you guys sound like an interview. Okay.
No, we are in podcast mode now.
Have the
So
voices changed from when we were speaking before?
No, tell us about your origin story. Where's Namhla from? Where did Namhla grow up?
Okay.
Where did Namhla go to school, etc.?
Okay. So something that people don't know about me, and it's so contradictory because of who they think I am now.
Yes.
And the whole image thing.
Yes.
I grew up in the rural Eastern Cape, and in a time where there was no electricity, right? There was no running water like taps. And I'm talking about the 90s, early 90s now. And I grew up with parents who were very, very strict. My mom is a teacher, or was a teacher. They both retired now. Was a teacher. And my dad was a policeman. But
So typical.
typical 9 to 5ers, my guy.
Is there a nurse somewhere?
No.
That's the only thing.
That's the only profession that's missing. But typical professions. And you grow up, and at first, like I was brought up by my grandmother, so I lived with my grandmother predominantly when I was in school, right? So I went to school with she taught me sub A at the time when I was still going
Your
to
grandmother
her
was
school.
also a teacher?
Yeah, she was a teacher too. So, but she was a nurse before me.
We've got the Trinity.
There's
We've got the Trinity. We're done.
the only it comes with the grandmother.
Yeah, no, that's where it
Like, who's
connects.
the nurse?
Okay,
Predominantly.
okay.
Yeah, so I lived with my grandma when I was younger. So I lived with both my parents. So my parents had me young, and then whilst they were studying and still pursuing their professional endeavors, I lived with my grandmother for some period. So she was a teacher, and I had the honor. You understand why it was an honor and the privilege and the embarrassment of being one of her students. So imagine your grandmother teaching you in class. So she taught me in Sabe, and I was at St. Mark's. That was my mom's home at the time. St. Mark's is still, like, if you're between Queenstown, people know the Eastern Cape well, Queenstown and Offenvaba. St. Mark's is the in between. There's Kamata, the great place for Xhosa cheese and the rural area. Yeah. So it's really close to where Chris Hani was also, he's in Sabalele. So it's very close to Chris Hani's home. That's where I grew up.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. And with her, so she taught me sub A, and then I went through to sub B, standard 1, right? And it was hard. I mean, one moment you now need to shift your mentality from, this is no longer my grandmother, this is my teacher. And she would beat the living crap out of me.
Of course she would.
More than anyone else. I remember, I have a story.
Because you're representing her. Yes.
Class rep without knowing you're the classroom. So this one time, and I'll never forget the story, guys. Like, I wake up, which is why even today I never make that mistake. I woke up. She would wake me up and then continue and get ready, right, for school. I woke up, and this time I didn't wake up when she woke me up. And then I was like, okay, let me quickly get ready. I get out of bed and I quickly go wash whatever I could wash that was important. And then put on my school uniform, and then we were out of the door, right? In class, she's just like, but there's something I just need to discuss with someone here. Making your bed is a crucial part of growing up.
Yeah.
So, Namhla, can you please stand up? Please go home and go and make your bed.
In class.
In class.
During the people.
I was sent home to go make my bed. And then when I come, and in that era, we were still, you were beaten. So I came back to being beaten.
You still got the beating.
From your own grandmother.
So being chased out was not punishment.
No.
Embarrassed.
So till this day, now when I wake up, I don't care how late I am, guys. I make my bed.
That's a good thing, actually, because there's that saying, Hore, make your bed, win the day. If you do that, if you do,
Your grandmother clearly understood.
She's here.
Yes.
May she rest in peace, but she's still here. She's just like, make your damn bed. So that was her. And then there's my parents, right? So although not present in terms of my schooling, right? But they supported it from a financial perspective. School holidays, Lona, you guys will be going to PE, Cape Town, whatever. Rural areas.
Offenvaba.
The hub. Baba. which it was such a complex situation because by this time they moved us from being taught in government school to multiracial. So I did sub A, sub B, standard 1 in government school, right? Didn't know a single word of English.
Sheesh.
Every time a white person spoke, I was just like, yes, no. That's all I knew. 2, Namhla, you're now moving to Queenstown. We're moving you to a white multiracial. And my grandmother and I had moved to Queenstown by this time anyways. So it made sense and she had retired. I had to repeat standard 1 or grade 3?
Grade 3, yeah.
Grade 3? Because obviously I don't know English.
Sheesh.
Hello?
Sure.
So yeah, I had to repeat it to be able to learn the language, right? And I remember being so confused at that time in terms of, okay, and my grandmother had to teach me a lot of the language and to watch certain channels, The Bold and the Beautiful, days of our lives at that time.
Our English teachers.
Now, obviously, when the scenes I wasn't supposed to see.
Just switch it off, yeah.
No,
Vala. Oh,
close your ears, Namhla. Namhla. Then we continue to watch those things, and she's being a teacher would teach me, and that's how I was introduced to English. At an age of what? How old are you usually when you do grade 3, guys?
grade 3 is 9.
9. At 9 years old, that's when I was introduced to the language.
Sure.
And then it was the same with my younger, so I have 4 siblings. With my younger siblings, it was easier for them. But for me, it was quite the adjustment.
Because you had to move
and
from
repeat the grade. And again, it took a lot in reflection. When I'm now reflecting to be like, but I passed the grade. I mean, I was second in class and to being like, no, there's nothing. It's not that you did anything wrong. It's just that we want to make it easier for you to be able to ease into that environment.
Sure.
So I think that created a space in which for me I was comfortable to change.
Okay.
Because having done that, I could easily move to Joburg without being uncomfortable at 17.
Because you've been taught when you were quite young. I like what you're saying now, and my question is, do you see the benefit, or is there any benefit at all, do you think, from firstly having your grandmother as your teacher, which means you are constantly at school, like even when you're at home, you're constantly at school, and secondly, just being able to just navigate between those 2 environments, where you are in Queenstown for school and you're in Bofimvaba for holidays. You see, what do you think when you think about that situation?
Look, at the time, and I'll go into specific examples, right? My dad didn't introduce his stepson to us until we were much older. So for the longest time, I had to play the boy's role in the rural areas. So I know how to ukola, right, which is to fetch whether whether it's wood or cow dung, dried cow dung from the forest with other village girls. I wasn't allowed to speak English in the rural areas because they don't know what the hell I'm saying. You know what I mean? Then you think you're looked at as being better than, right? And your light in complexion. It was such an inferiority complex, guys. I remember coming back to class and having to tell, those tell us about your holiday. I was in Cape Town. I don't even want to lie. I was just like, I was in Cape Town.
I was in Joburg.
I was in Joburg. Because, but it was such, and again, yet another transition, right? So you transition from a school perspective and then now from a home setting perspective. Because there, I had to do that. I learned how to fetch water from the river and put 20 liter of a bucket of water and carry it on my head like other village girls did. Had to go plow in the fields, and we were plowing at that time, mealies and all of those things. Had the kettle and learn how to walk in between those rows. Because my dad had a farm thing going on, and so we would plow things like mealies, etc., in that era. And a lot of people were doing it then, and harvesting, etc. So at the time, I hated it. I learned how to milk from a sheep, how to hold that thing in the crawl and
Yes.
milk for our coffee. If I didn't do it, 5 a.m. If I didn't do it, I don't get
No
I
woolies.
get a spanking. No woolies, no organic, nothing.
Yo.
And then I hated. I would lie. I felt like, okay, these people, they just gave birth to me just so they can have some slave.
Free labor.
Yeah, Kutankente. That one. That was me. How I felt.
Roots.
And
Yes, for the
then
kids
roots.
that don't know. Roots.
Yeah,
Yes.
roots. Kutankente. That was me. Because they would leave me there and they'd go back to their respective profession. I'm just
Oh,
like,
when I consider they are teachers and policemen during the day.
And there's something I'm actually wondering.
Yeah.
Your dad was a cop in the apartheid era. And how was that on a day-to-day basis, and how were they received by the community?
look, I was fortunate enough to, I wouldn't say maybe fortunate not the right word, but like I didn't live with my parents, so I lived with my grandmother, right?
Yes.
But now that I'm older and he's retired, I think he's more open to talking about his profession, because there are sometimes questions that ask him for guidance in terms of what I'm going through in my profession. And you tell me the struggles of not getting a promotion because of your race that he would go through, or feeling undermined at the time, and how the Eastern Cape police force sort of fought racism in that time. Like if you look now in Umtata, there's no white policemen at all.
Are they white people?
Because not ever had white police.
It's hard to have a white policeman if there's no white people.
No, but that's actually a good question, because I'm just like, have I seen, guys,
don't
if you
think
guys
I've
have
seen white
seen a
people
white person in Umtata, please let us know, because I'm just like, have I? Have you?
In Orania, there's no black street sweep.
You understand? And it makes sense why, right?
That's a very good, I don't know. But I do know my mom went through some similar struggles, that she'd be like, growth and development in those two professions was hard.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
It's quite tough. And you get to a point where you've grown enough, and then you plateau, and then you accept that's just your
This is me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which can be frustrating, especially for our generation. We don't want to sit still.
Oh, hell.
We can't.
Oh, my parents, every time I change a job, they're just like, again? It's like a mind fuck, if I can.
Yes.
For them, because they're just like, are you allowed to do it? Are you
But are
sure
you
you're gonna
allowed?
have a retirement?
Oh, yes.
Are you allowed to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, because for them that's all they knew.
Look, we're going to get into that, because remember when we spoke, I gave you a name, a title. Do you remember it? You forgot it. It's fine.
forgot,
I remind you.
obviously.
It's fine. I want us to go through the school phase, and then we'll get into the working phase.
Okay.
So talk to us about, now you're in high school and you are Namhla. What does Namhla want to be? What does Namhla want to do? What is she thinking?
First of all, let's start with how Namhla was in high school. Go ahead. High school for me was better than primary school.
Okay.
Now in high school, I've now, okay, so in primary school, the change that happened, okay, I now know English. Right?
Okay.
And
Now
then
you
I
are-
move again, you have another transition.
Okay.
From a multiracial school to an all-girls multiracial school.
Yo.
Like, there's so many transitions in my life that you can't help but know how to acclimatize to change.
You learned
Yes.
to
And
adapt.
adopt to change very, very quickly.
Yes.
All-girls school, and now Afrikaans is introduced as a
You-
I'm just
For
like,
the first time.
guys,
Like you never did it in primary.
we didn't have a second language in the first primary school that I went to.
It was just English.
And it was a time when the curriculum was not instilling the fact that there needs to be more than one second language offer at the time. So that only became an offer, or was put to the table when I was in high school.
Yo.
I would fail that. Guys, I would fail that subject. They said, God, I think I was promoted because, wow! What?
What's the word condone?
Well, no, I have no qualm saying that on air. Like, even my grandma would be like, it's not make sure this is report. It's not make sure your report.
Wait, so on the report you've passed, but the fake,
The marks.
all the tests.
The marks.
Gee.
They're like, ooh, and that's such a mind thing. Like you can't. I went from being a top student in my previous school to being like questionable. Is she gonna make it? Is she not gonna make it? And again, for me, it was just new environment again. A school uniform, there's a set kind of rule in terms of what you're supposed to wear in an all-girls school.
You wear
there's rules, there's regulations, there's prefix, there's I'm just like, this is just a lot for me. So yeah, grade 7, it was questionable. And I made it.
You're here now.
Yeah, I know.
No, I made it to grade 8.
Because I was about to ask, what changes did you have to make? Because we interview very accomplished people, and I don't think you are now a person who is just being condoned through life. So what?
Far from it.
So what changed, and at what point?
So I think there's something that people forget to mention in success. To be able to be successful, you have to have failed, and have failed dismally at it. And that's the beauty of most successful people. Right? And I think that there's a missing narrative in success stories. And that's the narrative that's always missing. Okay.
Because
God is great, my guy. He is.
What did Mashuru say? The victory lap.
Yes, we only get to see the victory lap. Right? We don't see the training and
that's
the falling, the injuries.
What I want to hear in obviously Tembakwayo stories or Lebo Kungoluzas of today.
Are you laughing?
All of the
I'm laughing because Mr. Tembakwayo is quite a big brand.
Yeah.
Hate him or love him, his name pops up quite a lot.
And
on this podcast, right?
It's shit.
He's loved.
And Bonang Mokhales of there's a lot. Like there's even females, Basitsana, all of these great leaders. For me, I always looked for, okay, what was your struggle? What did you? Because that's what makes you human.
That's what defines you.
That's what makes you human. Because then I can relate.
Yeah.
That's why I can't go to these. Oh my gosh, God was good. You have to work hard. We know that.
We know, but sometimes hard work is not the only ingredient in this thing.
So for me, I think to answer your question, the switch was, okay, Namhla, from grade 7, let's just start from grade 7 to grade 8. The switch for me was, Namhla, you were condoned, man.
You gotta sit down with yourself.
To say, actually, you're not actually supposed to be here right now.
But now, the beauty of the switch, right, from the primary school to the high school is that they're very different.
Okay.
New environment.
Yes.
And that for me was just like,
okay.
Because then I was like, you have a new
it's a chance to reinvent yourself.
Yes. And rebrand yourself.
Yeah, boy.
You can either repeat what you did then, but you only had 1 year. That's guys. I had 1 year.
Yeah.
There. Here you have 5. 5 years. Okay. Where do we start? First of all, I was put in the C class because condoned. So we were graded into A, B, and C class based on...
was that, yes.
Yeah, based on academic performance. Yes. I was in the C class, obviously.
Of how many classes?
There were 3.
Also, you were you were last.
Thanks, friend.
That's such a cool system.
No, I just want to make sure that we are clear about what we're talking about.
If there was an A to Z class, I was in
You're in the Z class. Because condone. Yes.
Right. But I made it.
You made it.
So I think that's where it all changed for me, because 5 years later, not only was I now in the A class, but I was the captain of the cross country team. I had academic honors, right? And I had consecutively from grade 10 right through, and I'd grown, like my academic achievements had literally done that.
Continuous improvement.
Continuous improvement. And I think that's the beauty of the story, right? It's not in I've always been an A student. No, I was an A student. I had the potential, but it took failing and not being an A student for me to really realize that appreciate the growth in my high school. So for me, high school was beautiful. Was I popular? Hell no.
So when you're speaking about your English thing there, I remembered my primary school had a feeder crèche. So it was a multiracial primary school and had a feeder crèche.
Okay.
And a lot of the kids in my class were from that white feeder crèche. I was from Limpopo, where in my crèche, the only English we said was, "Good morning, ma'am."
teacher.
And that was it.
Oh,
And I got beat up on my first day at school. Not because I was a naughty child.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. Like, the teacher put us on the carpet and was reading. And and I was just talking, you know, because I'm disengaged. I don't know what
We
the hell
can't
she's saying.
understand her.
Yes, yeah, of course.
And she keeps saying, "Can you keep quiet?"
And when it's coming out, it's coming in and coming out.
So she beat me up because she thought I was being disrespectful. And then in beating me up, she realized I have no idea what the hell she's saying.
Oh,
And it was Mrs. Jackson, but she
you still
worked
even
on
remember
me.
this was
No, I'll never forget her. No. She worked on me hard after school.
Wow.
And I was
To catch you
passing
up,
very well after that. Yes, just to catch me up. Who was that for you in at your school at the point where you are now in your C class and you are there? And what did they do for you?
For me,
Or was it just all you?
no. Yeah.
Or you want to credit other people?
Mostly, definitely me. Thank myself.
But you did get some
But-
help, yes.
Without knowing. And I think people don't, and it's important that we give people their flowers
Yes.
whilst they're still alive, right? Luckily, Mr. Atkins,
Shout out to Mr.
Mr. Atkins.
Mrs. Dixon.
Mrs. Dixon.
Yours is-
Shout out to
Shout out to Mr. Atkins. He's the headmaster, right?
Okay.
And he knew Xhosa very well. He can speak. He could speak it, and for me, every time he walked past me in the corridors, "Hello, Namhla, how are you?" And it no longer was about my name tag, but it was him genuinely, unjani. He would interact with me in my own language. And I'm like, if this guy can take so much effort to learn my language, what is stopping me from really just learning his actual? And the fact that he knows who I am, and I don't have, I'm still in grade 8 at the time. And honestly, the school system propels you to kind of want to be competitive. The fact that there was an A, B, C,
Yes.
you're kind of really late. Now you're out there. Like,
Now you know, yeah.
yeah, Udomzan.
You are in the Z plus. So you have to do something.
So it
if
was
you hope
that,
to,
and again, having things to aspire to, things like being in the A class, people like being a prefect, things like academic qualification or academic honors. I only had 1 year in my primary school where I was in an all girls school, but I had 5 here, and I looked at my prefects like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we did have.
You look at matriculants like, I want to be that. So I can bully these kids and go through orientation. Lynn, I want to be there.
Yeah.
So you have things that really motivate, systems in place. Without, I don't know, it's systemic, and I think it's very much intentional, and it works. You had to be doing some sort of sports by grade 10. I had no choice. So I didn't know how to swim. I couldn't play tennis or anything like that. So running was the only thing I knew how to do. So, and I could do it well, apparently. And I didn't know this until
you actually tried it.
Yeah, and then I was in the first team. I was the captain. I was a vice captain, and then I was captain of the cross country team. So it wasn't because I wanted to be the captain. It's just one of those things where growth just kept happening and kept happening because systemically the environment allowed. Yes. No. And again, the acknowledgement from leadership for me. That's so important. And I found that that's important even in corporate.
Yes.
The environment allowing you and the leadership enabling that.
Yes.
Growth.
Okay. Fantastic. We'll get there. I want us to move now from what you wanted to be in high school, and then you're in varsity. What did you do in varsity, etc., etc.
My God. And that's such a complex question.
What did you want to be? I know I wanted to be a policeman.
You did?
But this is primary. I was like,
You
policeman,
did?
primary. And then I was like, actually.
And then when did you decide
And then
accountant?
Accountant, the decision, I've said this before. The decision wasn't actually mine. Actually, when I look back, the teachers were like, "Oh, you're good at math.
Oh,
you're good at numbers. You should be an accountant." I was like, "Oh, okay,
That's me. That's me.
But in
Thank you,
retrospect,
teachers.
and you? What did
I wanted to be a pilot. Yeah, I wanted to be a pilot, and then later on, I actually wanted to be a business analyst.
Really?
Yeah.
And what are you now? And both of you? What are you guys doing now?
We're being interviewed.
Now we interviewing. And you did say this feels like your podcast.
Yeah.
Business development manager now.
Yeah.
I'm an accountant. No, but this is we spoke about this in the first episode. This is why this platform is important, so that you know if this accounting thing that they're telling you to do is actually for you.
Actually,
Because if I was given had I known what I know now, I would not have.
you would not.
Really?
No,
Vin, honestly, I have your story to be
I would
honest.
not. If I had a do-over, I'd probably do something in the arts. I'd probably do something in the arts.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the arts
You're
in South
wearing a beanie
Africa.
rolled now. You think you do like what the hell?
The only problem is in South Africa, the arts don't pay as much as if I was in America. So I'd probably do something, and like I'm fine with I'm fine with my current setup because I can do my 9 to 5 and then still do what I want with my extra time. So I'm fine being an accountant. Actually, I just it would not have been first choice.
I don't see the art.
You don't.
You don't?
See the art.
That was the first thing I saw when I met this whole.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about music.
Why don't you show me your artistic side, brother?
My brother, we met because of music. What are you talking about?
Years back.
Yeah, but I mean, this is how long it's been.
You don't take him seriously as an artist.
He doesn't respect my
He
artist.
doesn't respect your craft, right? What are you saying? He's not a talented artist.
Okay, so you also were told to be an accountant because I know you studied accounting.
I did.
Oh, okay.
It was a natural thing to do. I mean,
Now our teachers had so much influence.
Like,
yes.
Namhla, you're good at history, but like, what's history going to do for you? Honestly. I had 3 distinctions by the time I finished, and I had 3 C's, right?
Okay, what a contrast.
I was She was missing the C
And I had
class.
3 C's. So I passed really, really well.
Okay.
And my teacher was always just like, go into politics. I don't think you should be a politician or even a journalist or whatever. So, and history was it was the highest mark I had. And I enjoyed that subject so much. History and English, surprisingly, from someone who didn't know it.
Who didn't know it?
The irony. I came up to it. So, for me, it was, I'd always just relied on my teachers for guidance. So it was the natural thing, much like you. And my parents are just like, we just want you to go make money. On your own,
just go do something.
Just go do something that will make you. And this sounds like a lucrative career. So go into it. I applied at Wits. Wits was always my first choice. And I applied
Wits of Nix.
Wits of Nix. And UP was my second choice.
Okay.
The aim was to move this far away from home.
From home. Of course, naturally.
And Wits came back to me late. They had accepted me, but late. Tax is very efficient, guys. Shout out to UPM. They came back now saying, you've been accepted.
Yes.
Cool. So my parents are like, take it. It's same thing, Gauteng. We don't know Gauteng. It's same thing. In the Eastern Cape, it's like Eastern West. Same thing. You're going to Gauteng. What do you want? No, you're going to Gauteng. It's the same thing. Victoria.
So you couldn't go to Wits now.
No, and they took me a week later after my parents had paid the registration fee. So
Your parents were also efficient, they didn't waste time.
Yeah, they were just like, okay. But then they were like, the rest of the school fees, my child, is up to you.
That's interesting. We
We've
need to
got
get into
4
that.
other mouths to feed.
Yeah, no, yes.
That's quite interesting
Yes,
how
okay.
my journey through my tertiary career transpired. So you go from having all these great marks to having, parents that have supported your education throughout your primary, secondary school career to tertiary, okay, baby girl. As you can see,
What
there's
can
other
happen?
mouths here that need to go through the same process as you have. So it's been great. But we know you're a survivor though.
You'll make it. No, we have faith in you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you get to UP, you're studying accounting.
And then my dad, I'm in the bus. First time in Gauteng, ever. I've never
Alone?
been to Johannesburg. No, my dad is with me.
Okay.
I had never been to Johannesburg ever. Get into the bus. First of all, let's start with what I was wearing. Okay. I'm wearing shorts. Shorts and a t-shirt and shades.
Oh, yes.
And I remember my mom saying, "Uzokoto,
It's cold.
it's cold in this bus."
Those buses don't play.
Yeah.
I had never been in the bus, by the way. I'd never been in. I'd
you've never
never
been
been
anywhere.
except for Offenbach and Queenstown and East London. Never been anywhere else. I'm in these shorts. I froze my ass off. Luckily, my dad had a spare coat and he had
played
that,
the
and
role,
I was keeping it on top of my head. But I remember seeing that. You know that line, that Joburg,
Like the outline.
The
there's
outline.
a word,
Vodacom
man.
Tower.
There's a word for this.
I'm missing
We
that
should ask
word.
Moremi actually,
Is
because
it
he
the
knows.
landscape? Whatever.
The cityscape. It's not a cityscape.
Whatever
That's
they
what.
say in English.
I don't
that
Okay,
one,
anyway,
that
yeah,
word.
yeah,
That one.
yeah.
Silhouette.
Not silhouette.
No, it's not
man.
silhouette.
There's a word for it.
Yeah, I forgot.
It's fine.
It's
That one.
mother tongue. It's not our mother tongue,
Right.
guys. As you can see, we learned it old.
Yeah.
Okay, that one. I remember waking up because my dad was waking up because he woke me up to say, because he's been to Joburg with work. They had been and he lived there for a bit, and so he woke me up, and I told him, "Wake me up when we get there." Just because I want to see.
Yeah.
He woke me up, and I remember seeing the Vodacom Tower and the thing, and I remember coming close. I'm like, "Why in Kari there's clothes hanging in this tower?"
Because it looks so perfect from far, right?
From a distance.
Yeah, like it looks like, this is Joburg. But don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Clothes, there's panties. I'm just like, okay.
Actually, when you close it, the reality hits. Actually,
but
it's actually
still, I was quite excited.
Okay.
It was filthy though,
Yeah, of
compared
course.
to what I had, how I had envisioned it
in your mind.
in generations and how. Yeah, okay. And in my head, I thought I would meet these
There was
people.
no
on the
stylo
street,
cards.
guys. I thought I was gonna meet also Finda.
It's the Vindama just walking randomly.
Doesn't work like that. Mind you, we're in the Eastern Cape, guys, especially in that time, we were so closed off.
Yes.
I don't know other languages. So now when you come and meet me speaking, it's just like,
Tosa only. Ish. It's tough.
Baba?
It's tough.
They used to call him Mkhamedede because he came from the Eastern Cape and he couldn't speak. So that was his nickname. Was
It's those kinds of things. Oh, guys.
Shame.
It's really like a, huh?
Yeah.
So I get to varsity. I mean, we get to Johannesburg. We obviously transition to Pretoria with the bus. And then we get to Pretoria. We get a taxi that gets us to my residence. I have my suitcase and an umbrella. My dad literally at the doorstep of the residence says,
Sure.
it's been real.
Yeah,
Plus, my parents, like, I come from a generation where my parents, what is a hug? We don't know that.
Hey.
Really?
No, I've never hugged my dad. The first
I thought
time
it was
I
different
somewhat,
for females.
no, the first time I somewhat attempted to ask me if I was sick.
Like, you time, then I'm
Right?
So
Really? I thought it was different for females because we've had this discussion.
We remember
before, right?
we did talk about
Yes,
it.
we
as
spoke
well.
about this and we said our parents.
It was
our
not on the
dads-
it was not on the podcast.
No,
it
not on
was
the
a
podcast,
personal.
yeah.
But do you not feel what it infiltrates, and we can go into it later, like in the conversation, it infiltrates in how your relationships, not just romantic relationships, but relationships with even your
Generally.
friends,
It does.
generally, how you are able to interpret a fiction or receive a fiction.
Yes, it
Because
absolutely does.
I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? Or I hug you and I'm going into it like a church hug because it's not. I'm not accustomed to.
That's the one you gave me today.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a lady.
Tell them who Thomas out.
Come on.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah.
So Pops is like, okay, we wanna speed past now.
Yeah.
Pops says, check, sharp.
But
First week,
let's fast forward to the first 6 months, okay?
first 6 months, yes.
Yeah. No, academically, I'm doing okay.
Okay.
No, right? So
Okay,
I'm doing
great.
well.
Good to hear.
But now school fees.
Eesh.
And we're getting to a point whereby now even I'm anxious because I'm getting 150 Rand a month from my parents.
What year was this?
2007? 2007. I was at UP 2007 to 2009, right?
Okay.
And I also made the transition from accounting to internal auditing.
Internal audit, yeah.
I couldn't take it, guys.
Yeah.
My bank record was just not bad. It's just like, no, I can't do this. I can't. So it was
So you had to, you had to be like, okay, audit at least less number.
Let's do audit.
Yes.
Fine, but my marks was really good. And then you literally have your all tight because you're just like, they could really like call me and be like, Miss Mbawuli, you paid your school fees, lady. You're out.
Yes. And luckily you didn't go to a private school because MGI didn't play that shit.
Yeah, no, you would not be able to enter the
MGI,
gate.
you cannot even enter the premises if your school fees is not paid.
Guys,
From our
what?
parents.
Your fingerprint gets cut off.
Yeah, that month. So the security, you can speak to the security for like a month or because like your friend will tag you in for like a month.
Yeah.
But after that, the securities are like, my brother, I'm sorry.
My brother.
You're going to have to make a plan. You can't enter here.
You can't.
You can't enter. Never mind. You can't enter.
Never mind
the
attending the
school.
class.
Yeah, you can't enter the premises.
No, guys, that's hectic.
Yeah, they don't play around.
I was hectic.
So your parents were paying.
They were suffering.
They were suffering.
So we both went to MGI.
Oh, you guys both.
Actually, we went to the same high school as well.
Yes.
Wow,
yes.
crazy.
But by the time you entered, I had left.
Sure,
So
yeah,
technically,
Oh, we never went to the same high school.
you went to Tower 10. I didn't go to
Oh, you
Tower
had a
10.
name change.
Yes, I went to West Eden Vale. You went to Tower 10.
Guys, I appreciate your parents. Mine was just like,
they really.
So how are they? Wait, why didn't you apply for NSFAS, or was it not a thing?
my parents
Didn't
don't
qualify.
I don't
Missing middle.
qualify.
Oh, they don't qualify because you're that
They're both working,
ill.
yeah, they're both working. But it's because there's 4 other kids.
But there's 4 other kids though. Period. I didn't qualify for NSFAS. I couldn't even justify.
And there's a lot like you because there's that middle.
Missing middle is a real
This
thing.
one is
Yes,
covered.
and
This
there's
one
a
is
lot
It's a
of
real
people like
thing.
that. It's a real thing. So for me, I think the saving grace was my marks. Honestly. So I get a call, right, from the admin building. I'm like, okay, this is it.
This is it.
This is it.
It's
I'm
over. I'm about to
getting
get
in
kicked out.
my academic. I'm about to go home. I remember, I would never forget like the heart palpitations I had waiting in that admin office for that lady. I walk in there, Miss Mbawuli. Yes, ma'am. So we had a look at your academic qualifications and you've been doing really well. We have some great news for you. Great news.
Okay.
The Department of Labor from the Eastern Cape is offering bursaries for people who have achieved an academic qualification of 70% average.
Wow, average, yeah.
And you have, so you get to qualify for a 3-year bursary.
Oh, beautiful.
We pay for your school fees, we give you pocket money
Wow.
and everything. I'm just like, say what?
Yeah,
I was literally- I went from being depressed to being like,
Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah,
What are that?
you remember that movie?
Yeah.
This was me.
Wow.
And the reverse happened where my family was somewhat supporting me to me sending money home.
Oh, because now you're getting
Now
an
I have
allowance.
5,000
But because now you are used to
allowance,
living off
yes.
of 150.
Yes.
5,000
So
is a
I
lot.
was just like, Namhla, you can have 1,000 rand.
Yeah.
But like, you know where you come from. There's other mouths to feed.
Kids,
And that's always been my relationship with my grandmother, which is why I love my grandmother to bits. Because I'm aware of my home situation. I'm aware that I didn't have privy to pocket money. My siblings shouldn't have to go through that.
Suffer.
Yeah. So, and I'm aware that when my parents fell short, my grandmother would have to chip in. And so when I got that money, I was just like, 1,000 rand is enough for me. Send the rest,
must go home. Beautiful.
So that they can live comfortably as I'm living as well, you know? So, and I suppose those are the blessings that we take for granted, right? Because I'm not a religious person, but I do believe that there's a God. And it's not not a mistake. It's not some sort of luck. I just believe in destiny. When preparation meets opportunity, that's when I was prepared, right? I did my part in terms of doing the studying and getting the marks. The opportunity presented itself, boom, boom, boom. Now, what I did with that opportunity is, again, what propelled me even in my corporate career, which is now outside of this thing. And again, guys, another struggle. I'm just like, can it end? Can it?
So we're here now. I gave you a name. I called you an occupational nomad.
Nomad. Friend, I'm a mess, guys. Go.
Because you have done, what have you not done?
In a quest to find less. I moved accounting to auditing. Okay, we're still there.
Yes.
Occupation now comes, right? Yes. So 3 years in, the bursary can't pay for honors. It's just a 3-year blessing in disguise, because I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do for my honors. I knew auditing was boring, but I had to finish it. It was not for me. Yeah. It wasn't for me. So I think now a lot of people have this preconceived notion with people that have a lot of qualifications, thinking, oh my God, you're a no, a lot of us are just trying to find what it is.
Trying to find what actually will stick.
What works. I'm one of those. So when an opportunity with the UN, and it was the International Organization for Migration, came in. By the way, I had a young stint with PwC for like 2 months, and then I was just like, this is really not. Imagine, and that's another thing. It's like I'm Patrick Smith's daughter. Like, how the f do you think you just make such a?
Yeah, you just like that.
This is not working. I don't like this. So as I just quit, I bump into one of my friends who we were in the same class, and she was a year ahead of me. And I'm there walking in the streets of Hatfield looking all depressed. Like the world has ended. And it's like, hey, how is it? And we go back, way back since home. And I'm just like, I'm looking for a new job there because I just quit.
Without a plan.
Without a plan, but it was just not working. And then she's like, no, okay, wait, I work at the International Organization for Migration, and they're looking for interns. But they do pay 1,500, which was a huge difference from where I came. I came from 6,000 rand a month. Okay. Oh, okay, but I don't have 1.5. So okay, let's listen. Nothing. So I get in, right? A 3-month stint. I was a finance intern. But guess what? It was SAP. It was current at the time. I was like, this is cute.
Yes, okay.
I get to do a bit of other admin stuff. Yes. And within 3 months, they made me permanent. So I jumped from 3K to 14K.
Yo.
Which is times 2 and a little bit extra than what I would have earned at PwC.
Sure. So now you're falling now.
Blessings. Blessed. And you don't get taxed. Hello. Hey. Yes. So yeah, we don't get taxed.
Because it's the UN.
Yeah, it's the UN.
Oh, I didn't know this.
I'm just like,
I didn't know this either. Yeah.
You don't get taxed.
Yeah. That would be nice.
And you get to travel. So
beautiful.
When I was in finance, I quickly.
So this is where the traveling bug.
The traveling bug
bit you.
But wait.
Okay.
So I'm in finance. I'm still in finance, right? Okay. And I'm just like, I don't like this. there's a very dominant creative side, guys, that just, and I'm not bad with books. You get it?
That's the thing.
That's
I
the
think that's what.
frustration. And
Yeah,
it's having a left and right brain that you can operate. But it's the creative side that always dominates. Because I'm not happy. For me, happiness is very important.
Number
Oh,
one.
you see.
I was just like, this is not working. And so let me start looking around the organization to see what it.
Okay.
Then-
Within the organization.
Yeah, within.
Okay.
Yeah, within.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Because that 14K was good. Was too good.
Good. Again, yeah, that's when you know I'm closer because money.
So you're looking around.
I looked around and that's where project management came in, right?
Okay.
Because I was like, oh, they have a projects division and these people manage various projects in various countries. That's interesting. So I can use a bit of my finance with the budgeting side of things. Started sitting with multiple people to just understand the layer of the land in terms of the kinds of projects that we were working on, etc., etc. Spoke to my current boss to be like, yo, it's been real, but like, I really,
need to be out.
It's this is,
It's not.
it's not
Not
working.
it.
Spoke to the other one to say, I'm really interested to come and join your unit.
Okay.
Then they created something for me.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Because it's the thing with me, ne? I actually perform, even though I don't like something. I want to give it my best.
Okay.
It will both.
You don't let it affect your performance.
No.
Okay.
It's important that I show up and I show up well. And that's another thing. Sometimes you get tasks that you enjoy and you get tasks that you don't enjoy.
Yeah.
But even the ones that you don't enjoy can propel you for the opportunities that you do enjoy.
Oh, yes.
Yes, because the only reason my manager was willing to listen to my wants and desires because I was actually doing a great job.
And it helps that when the.
It helps.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no. To your point.
No, I was about to say that it also helps that you have a good reference from even the stuff that you don't enjoy.
Yes, yeah. So if she can do what she doesn't enjoy and she does it so well, who am I to hold her back from really do what she would do?
Thrive in,
And I appreciated that because then she let me go and I went there.
Okay.
I mean,
Project management.
my salary.
Oh, so now it's even.
Yes, that's a promotion.
Oh.
Because now as a project assistant, right?
Okay.
Project assistant. Respect me.
That's fine.
At 21, I was like coiling it. No tax. I was traveling. Lesotho.
So you don't even touch your salary because now it's allowances when you
It's allowances.
Yes,
it's
when you're
everything. I
traveling.
bought my first car.
Hey, now.
Which I crashed. The GTI. It was beautiful. It had all the vroom vrooms.
This is so typical.
I literally bought my car. No, I looked at my car. I'm like, this is the car I want. I kid you not. I didn't know I needed a license.
But she came on a bus, guys. We can't miss you.
Which GTI is this? The 5, the 6?
I don't know what it was, guys. It just looked beautiful. Like, and it had those pipes that came out. The new, not the you know, when we were in varsity, it was the red one with the black thing that the men used to drive. This was more feminine, right?
Oh, okay.
The feminine.
Yeah.
6?
Yeah.
I don't speak car.
Sorry, guys. If you
I
drive
don't
a Golf
speak
6
car.
GTI.
I'm so sorry. That's the
That's
one.
right, yeah.
And it had the pipes. And I went interviewed. I'm like, this is the car.
Can I have it, please?
Okay, can we have your license?
That time there's no license.
Reverse play. Now I have to go to driving school.
Oh my
Took 20 lessons
Namhla.
in there.
So you weren't even planning on driving the car. You just wanted to have it. Did you know how to drive?
That's insane.
Well, I just knew the next step, obviously, is to get a car because I have the salary that affords me to get a car.
Okay.
And it's not that you didn't know that you need a license.
No,
You were
it's
just
that
willing
I'm
to
just
drive another
willing
one.
to-
Yeah.
I was just
No, she
willing.
wanted it that bad.
But logically,
Yeah.
I didn't know how to drive.
You just wanted the car.
I just wanted the car. Like, in my head, I really just wanted the car, guys, honestly. So they're like, okay, you need to apply. Like, can we have your driver's license?
Hey.
Oh, I
need a
actually need
license?
that. Because my dad, I didn't know growing up that you need to have some sort of license to be able to drive this thing.
Oh. So you weren't even aware there's such a thing out
There's a driver's license. No. I'm just like, okay. And you guys can call me naive all you want. Like that's like I live in a bubble. I lived in the Eastern Cape for me. That small town was like a huge ass bubble. Even in Joburg, I took for granted walking because everything was just convenient here in Pretoria. So like, okay, I go to the driving school. I do 20 lessons.
Getting things done.
Getting things done.
Yes.
Got things done. Now I have this car.
Okay.
Now I have to take it out of VW. Pray for me. I only know.
And it's a GTI pillar. You learned with the
Yes. Was it automatic?
School.
No, it was the actual thing because I took a manual from the driver. But now I only know how to get to gear 3. I remember that guy who sold me the car was so frustrated. I literally stopped near my VW and I felt like I can't move. I'm scared. I can't do it. He literally had to drive it home.
Really? Jeez.
He drove my car home.
But it was no, you had to because it was a commission.
Oh yeah, you got paid.
He has to go the extra mile.
No,
next
so
thing you say, I don't want this car.
And I parked that thing for 2 weeks because I was so scared to drive it.
Just looking at it, coming out and looking at it and
So
saying,
busy. And then moved to
go back.
It took the will of God to give me that courage. And that's where the real driving actually happens. Nobody teaches you that.
Yes.
So literally my friend was just like, put in headphones, honestly, and just block out all the noise.
That's
so
horrible advice. That's the worst advice ever.
Horrible advice.
Is that why you crashed it?
Yeah, that's probably why you crashed.
No, I crashed it 4 years later.
Oh, okay.
But it helped me because I got so scared.
So
Every time you guys would get angry on the road, because it would start. I mean,
and no one expects you to be learning to drive in a GTI.
learner sign.
Yeah, it's
Like having a learner sign of Porsche.
Yeah, you know, people are like, maybe this is when my kid drives.
Yeah.
But I drive it most of the time, you know.
Oh my God.
So they thought the experienced driver was driving most of the
I
time.
bumped that thing so many times. Yeah, but it's a
and you bought it new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Where was your panel beating business then, man?
Hey, we could have sorted you
My
out.
guy.
But if you crash again,
It was so.
we got you.
It was great. And when I crashed, the annoying thing was I was really good at driving at that point because it wasn't even my fault.
That's the worst.
And then I downgraded to a Polo.
You're like, I can't do it.
I can't do it. I can't keep doing it.
Say you bought a Polo. Don't say downgrade because Polo drivers are very.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
yes, yeah.
Sorry.
She
sorry.
bought.
But
She moved on to a Polo.
moved.
Yeah.
She
on.
moved.
Okay, how
into a
about
Polo.
I moved on to a Polo. GTI. I moved on. I still
Yeah,
stuck
you
with
moved on to a Polo.
VW.
Yeah, at least. Okay.
I moved on.
You moved on to
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but like that
So,
was interesting.
Yes, UN. You are at the UN, and then wait. When does the singing come in?
That comes in when I moved to CSIR. So
Okay, so you moved
after
from UN to CSIR.
I grew to being a project assistant, right? And I realized, okay, I report to the regional project manager, and she ain't going nowhere. She's 42.
Okay, she still has a good 18 years.
She's not going nowhere, and I'm getting bored. And not bored, but I also want to manage my own project.
Yeah,
just like she does. So I apply elsewhere at CSIR, and I get the job.
Okay.
As a project coordinator. Okay, get in there. It's a bunch of engineers, introverted. I'm just like, they hide in corridors whenever I come in, and I'm always wearing heels, and it's just like, this is different. This is
Yeah, no, CSI was not the place.
No, CSIR. But I was there for 5 years. And parastatals are a beautiful setup because if you want to have a work-life balance, I would definitely recommend that you work for a parastatal. Because you get to a point where after a year, you know the peaks and the off-peak season of when things are to happen. And things are given to you not in a pressured state, like you constantly. I don't recall a day at CSIR where I worked till 8.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't. Like, it was.
That's nice.
It was incredible. It was a beautiful working environment, and it was then that I was just like, okay, what else can I do? Besides, so I went back to school, did my BCom honors in business management. I made it as generic as possible
Oh, so you can
across the
do
board
whatever.
because then it
Yes.
feeds into project management and I can somewhat explain the accounting and internal auditing.
You won't have to do recalls anymore now.
Interview-wise, I could explain that mishap. And also, I wanted something to do to keep me busy because with the UN, I've been traveling, so that was keeping my time. But also, I wanted to grow.
Okay.
I realized that there's an opportunity here for me to be able to manage projects if I wanted to. But again, it's about them taking me seriously. So I went back to school. They were funding, and they actually had funding for.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I took that opportunity up.
Another
I got my
benefit of
honors.
Paris.
Yes, benefit. Huge benefit. So I got that. I did my honors. And then again, okay, what else can I do? Ooh. I think I've always wanted to be a singer.
Yes.
Let me just get it over and done with. Let me just write something and...
Okay, so singing, you've been doing singing throughout, but now you're like, let me take it more serious. Okay.
So in varsity, one of the things I would do in my pastime was to feature for certain people like all aspiring rappers. Oh yeah, I think I can blast a line. Yeah, that was me. I was literally that girl in the dorm rooms. That was me on some stupid box, and you guys. Yeah.
No, we had to make the best with what we had at the time.
Yeah, that was me. That was always me.
We've come full circle.
Full circle. Full circle, wasn't it? Look at your setup now.
And look at you featuring.
You're still featuring.
Look at my life, guys. God punishes.
Okay, so now you're like, I've always wanted to be a singer. Let me see how it goes.
I've always just had this desire to just create something that's outside of a feature.
Something that's your own, right?
That's my own body of work, and just put it out there. For me, it was just supposed to be on SoundCloud, and I get it done, and it was out there. From having featured, so Moby Dixon was the real catalyst in me wanting to just let's get it out of the way now, because again, from these multiple features, somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
That's how it always is.
I know this vocalist. Meet with her and have her here at what it is she can do. He met with me, literally put me inside his car, played a tune, and it's just like. Do something with this beat. I don't know what the hell I sang, but like I did something. He was happy enough. We went into Oskido's studio. We recorded. Like I had written something on the beat. He sent me a beat a week before. We went into Oskido's studio and we recorded. We were happy. And after that, my first ever song to come out into the world or feature was done. And I thought,
Not
that
bad.
was nice.
I can do that again.
I could do that again. And the song made it into a deluxe album. So
nice.
It was that album with Uputiza.
Yes,
I was there.
Oh.
But again, yours truly didn't know what to call herself. I thought of calling myself a stage name, like Burnt Clutch. But I'm like, no, that's not what
Burnt Clutch. That definitely was not GTI.
It was not trauma.
No, Burnt Clutch was not.
It was not gonna work. That's just like, and people, this is how I know people know me. If you call me Nana, then you know me from way back, because that my grand called me that name. He followed me throughout high school, throughout varsity, and I'm just like, how far along do you know me? How far back? You know me well. So at the time I was just like Nana Mbawuli, right?
Okay.
Kept it like that. And then when I did the whole solo music thing and I wanted to put my body of work out in SoundCloud, for me, I'm not ashamed of my music. So I was just like, why do I need a stage name?
Yeah, I'm just my name.
Why do I need a stage? I don't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, I want people to associate me with music. I'm not ashamed of singing, and nor am I ashamed of being a corporate person. So, and I think the two can coexist.
Yeah, they don't
and
have to
both
have a separate...
equate to who I am. And if the world doesn't like it, well,
Tough for them.
Yeah. You know, Lerogadi gets I'm sure guess have done nothing to you.
The only
I guess I've never been so dead before.
I'm sorry.
Guys. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. Kupa my chara. But it's the truth.
You know what I love about your story, Namhla? It is so consistent. Like, it's always been a, having to change from this to that and this to that. And the person that you are now makes so much sense.
Does it?
Yeah, for me now.
I think so.
It's like, okay, now, of course you turned out the way you turned out.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
I think it would be great to hear it from somebody else's perspective because I'm like, does it?
Because I mean, because you've been forced in situations that, so firstly, the switching around thing, that's the first thing, right? Secondly, I think being under the spotlight of being your grandmother's kid made you so comfortable with the spotlight. Because even in class, like you were so chilled about it.
Yeah.
Some people get the spotlight and it's a thing.
It's
like, hey, I'm there.
I'm in the limelight.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you've always just been like, okay, yeah.
But even around, actually, Even with music, I mean, for me, I love people, right? Before I love the spotlight. I love being able to connect with people in a manner that resonates authentically with them. I don't want to present myself in a false way. I'm not perfect. And that's always so important to me. And that's why, for me, even when I was writing Uyindlela, which was my first single.
The first single, yes.
It was true to who I am. I really didn't care if you liked it or you didn't like it at the time. All I wanted to do was put it out on SoundCloud and say, this is a representative of me. This is my body of work, right?
Yes.
Little did I know that the song would do so well that Namhla, please just put it out on these platforms. And I had to learn as an independent artist how to register myself on iTunes, on Google Play, on Spotify, and all these digital. And I still do that till this day. That's why you can have access to my music. Yes, I do it myself. And throughout my musical journey, I think banking education again. The reason why I've never signed on is not because I haven't been approached by these labels. It's because for me, the value proposition just didn't sit well. I was just like,
why?
This is where the accounting and the become, that don't make no sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't balance. That back, the record. It's not. And so hence the intentional decision to remain an independent artist because I have the creative freedom to put out any body of work that represents me and how I want to be feeling and represented at that time. As people, we change, so definitely.
Sure, Namhla. Sure. We like the format that we did today. Your childhood was so interesting that we spent quite a lot of time talking about it. And unfortunately, we are a career podcast. So we are going to have to talk about, we are going to have to touch on that. What do you do now? Like, what's your title?
And what does it involve?
And what do you...
Okay, so post having done the MBA qualification, so after doing the honors, I did an MBA, and that's where I met Lesego, and through him I met you. But I'm now a continuous improvement consultant, which was very much in line with the specialization that I went into in terms of qualification with doing the MBA. And I was very intentional with doing it with Gibbs because it offers you that variety, especially, which is lucrative, especially for someone like myself who wasn't sure what it is that I wanted to do. I have an array of all these traits and all these strengths. And
you even went into IT. We didn't get into that.
Dude,
but after project management, you went into IT. I went into
CIPC as a consultant, into IT, into a new world. I'm just like, I don't even know a word. But I don't even know how to code. But I realized you don't have to. You just need to be good at managing people. And if you manage people well, they will manage you well. If you take care of your staff members, they will take care of you. And it was hard at the beginning, obviously, because you're black, you're female, and you're like petite. And people don't take you serious. But I've realized that's my strength. So
you use it.
Yeah, I use that. But you underestimate me, and I play to that card because you won't see me coming when I
Until it's time, yeah.
Dynamite.
Yes.
So I've actually just I'm used to learning how to use that trait to my benefit.
Great.
So with
Turn your weaknesses
into your strengths. I'm still learning.
Beautiful, yeah.
I'm still learning. So even with the continuous improvement consultant role, it's teaching me how to learn the insurance industry as a whole, not just from the business's perspective, but also how to take the skill sets that I've learned in MBA and apply them into these various projects that I'm working on, how to use the frameworks, how to implement and provide solutions to the business that are lucrative, that have lasting effect, like visible benefits, but continuously so. I think, like I said before, it's your body of work is a representative of who you are, and I take pride in that. And hence, maybe it's because I'm single. I'm not single, but like I'm not married. So the only thing that I take seriously is my work.
It's work, yeah.
It's my work. And maybe when I do get married, I'll be stressed out by other things. But like, for now, the work is the most important thing for me. Not that I don't want to be taken care of. Damsel. Hello, shout out to all the billionaires. I'm here.
And then continuous improvement specialist.
Yes.
Consultant. Yes.
Explain it to a child. What do you do? And maybe what are some other synonyms for it that are more common?
So, continuous improvement. It's basically an internal consultant. So it's like getting a consultant within an organization instead of paying to have them outside, creating a division of consultants, because the organization is so big and it has various divisions that you do need people to go, and it has legacy systems and legacy processes, right, that create problems. So sometimes you do need someone external to the division to come in, look at your current processes and optimize them, see how you can better improve the processes, be it automation, be it finding the constraint, and simplifying it more, change management.
Okay.
How do you implement or figure out tools that can implement change management effectively? And what I love about the job, you go in, you fix the problem, you get out, find another one. It's an in-house. It's just like having a research and development unit.
Yeah.
In an organization, you literally have a continuous, but for processes, right? Where there's a problem, we come in, we solve it, we're out. We leave you to manage the change. We give you the tools to manage the change, but we're not here to oversee. That's your baby. We give you the solution. That's on you. Move on to another. So if you're somebody that doesn't enjoy the same thing or repetition, continuously doing the same thing over and over again, I would definitely recommend the profession, because you don't have to attach yourself to a certain job. It's literally, there's a time frame, you have a project plan. You come in, you look at the as-is state, you sit, you divulge, you look at solutions, and you create a target state. You are there to oversee the first phase, second phase of implementation. Bye.
So how I understand it then from what you're saying is that because when you first mentioned it, I thought that you were in a company and then you're dealing with different problems, but a company brings you in for a specific process problem and then you leave the company.
So no, I'm still internal.
Oh, you're still internal.
But because I work, because the organization is so big.
Oh, you move on to another.
So it's similar to what you're saying, but within a division. So instead of saying company, let's say divisions.
Okay.
So you will have, for example, a claims division having a problem. I'll come in. The IT division has a problem.
Okay.
I'll come in. The finance division has a problem. I'll come in.
Okay.
And people don't know they have a problem. Or what I've seen is that people they know they have the problem and they think that's the problem, but it's actually not the problem. And it's never a people or person related problem. It's a process problem. And it takes someone external to the problem to be able to identify what solutions can be implemented. And obviously a willing person, you wouldn't call me unless you were willing to find a solution.
Yeah.
Okay. But how do you, speaking of that, because I think that's, I think people sometimes will call you as a consultant or as an external eye, but still want to hold on to certain things. So like you're saying, sometimes they think they have an idea of what the problem actually is. And they're trying to steer you in that direction to say, I want you to confirm. I want you to confirm that this is the problem.
80%
But you need to say, hold on, let me identify that. How do you navigate that without making the person feel like you are encroaching or you are stepping on toes?
So for me, I have a simple rule. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. Can I do a problem analysis first, right? So that means you give me a week or two to go into your division, go assess, right? What do you think the problem is? Come back to you with my findings. And then from those findings, they'll be robust enough because they'll be thorough enough to either...
And data support.
And data support, like so I accumulate data. And it can either support your narrative in terms of what you think the problem is, or oppose it. And you need to be open to that. I make that very clear.
So you tell them upfront that it might not be what you think the problem is. That's the key.
And if you give me that grace period of a week, it's usually a week, it can be two, depending on the size of the project. I go in there, I do my analysis, and usually it's not what you think it is. Because a lot of leaders are very external to the process. They look at things from a bird's eye view, and they don't know the intricacies of what goes into the process and why the problem exists to begin with. So they view the problem at face value, but they don't know what the cause and the root cause is what you need to solve for.
Could it also not be the opposite of that almost? The standing too close to the elephant effect, where you are just not able to take yourself out of the situation and see what are the other externalities that add to the problem.
It's really a combo of two.
It's a combo of both, right?
It's a combo of both. And I've seen it mostly, especially with...
Okay, now we are thoroughly into career mode.
Career mode. Outside of leaders, it's more prominent with the people that work with the systems or with the process. They're so it's frustrating, yes, but yet you're so accustomed because this is how we've always done things. But yes, you want the change, but you don't really want it.
But I don't really want it.
But it's hard, man. But it's hard. It's like in COVID. You want me to stay at home, but I like people.
Yeah.
It's really it's that. And it boils down to how much as leadership do you want me to do this? Because the change, managing the change needs to come from you more than me. Yes. I can give you the tool.
You're just the tool in the entire change management process.
I'm just the person that can help you, but whether or not the change is implemented effectively is all up to you. Because what I've seen are cases of people who, like, they work with legacy systems that frustrate them, and their first rule of thumb is to automate. But you can't automate a system that is not refined. So, for example, if you have a 40-step process, you first need to reduce that to its minimum before automation. And people just don't understand that. But you automating the system in 40 steps is still a replica of the problem. You haven't solved
what the problem is.
The problem is you take too long to do something that could take you 5 days.
Unnecessary steps are in there.
So you move the constraints to its minimal state and then you automate. You are impatient with that.
I see.
Especially now with IT. They just want to put in robots and very quick to do that.
I have a cousin of mine who also, he's in IT as well, and he's also frustrated by, you just want to automate certain things that you don't even understand.
You don't understand.
So even when the automation is not doing what it's designed to do, you are not able to diagnose that because you don't understand why we need the step. I like that.
Which is why I appreciate, I think, my time at CIPC so much, because that's when I was introduced to the complication
Yes.
of converting a paper-based legacy system, which is registering a company or a patent, and it was done so manually, to now automating it.
Oh, wow.
People, you are introduced to various things, change management. People don't want this thing.
They don't. They
say they do, but they actually don't. The complication in their lives that comes with learning something new at the age of 49 is a lot. And unlearning certain traits, right? Yeah, it could be simplified, but like, can we not do it in over 5 years? Over 5 years, the systems have changed. You're late. That's another problem. Right?
Yes.
If you don't do it now.
Yes. The state that you were trying to get to, what did you call it? The desired state. Target state. Has moved.
It's moved. It's just because innovation is constantly changing. So you implement. I don't have time as a consultant to be waiting for you to be ready. You'll never be ready. It's either you want to implement or you don't. And again, we boil it down to leadership.
The change management process starts at the top.
You need to be the driver of the change. Yes, it will. You're afraid of it yourself.
Yes.
But if you want to see results in terms of profits, in terms of positive SLAs, you
someone
need to
said, I read something someone said, I think over the past couple of weeks, and they said, the problem with South Africa is that there's not a lot of space for failure, unlike America. So that's why the executives are also going to be afraid of the change. Because if I have a winning formula, I'm fine. Namhla, why do you want me to change my winning formula?
And that's exactly what makes us...
Because if I fail, I'm fired, right?
Yes.
In the US, you fail and
it's fine.
Let's try something else.
You look at just simple example. And again, arts meets the artistry in me. You look at television and the programs. If a series doesn't work in 3 months, they remove it. They're okay. They're okay with it.
Yes.
We are so like, no, let's give it some time. Why? No, we're living in a digital era. If people are not watching, they're not watching. It's not going to change.
Yes.
In fact, you're just going to get less viewers and be more frustrated. It's the same when you take that concept into a working environment.
Yes.
Automation in the digital era is here whether you like it or not. And the sooner you catch up with it, the better. Otherwise, you will be left behind. Because here's the thing, if I don't automate now, the systems upgrade. There's a better version that's going to come out next year.
Which is going to be so much harder. So this thing that you're doing of moving from one system to a later system is what I'm doing as well at work.
The irony.
It's so crazy because we left it until so late that there are basics that need to get done right first before you can even start thinking about moving to a new
system. The architecture.
Yes.
I can't emphasize the importance of understanding the architecture and the complexity that comes with understanding the layer of the land in simple terms. And being able to draw that out, right? In terms of how it is now versus how we'd like it to be.
Yes.
And you need to give yourself, looking at where the technology is going, enough leeway to be able to make mistakes in that architecture. The sooner you implement start, the sooner you can make those mistakes. Have that room.
Because I think maybe it comes with accepting and knowing that mistakes are gonna be made. I think people are just trying to avoid the mistakes. They're trying to avoid them. Yeah.
And especially now, when you look at IT and where it's at, it's with the younger generation, right? And this is where it becomes really interesting because that's what I was doing my paper on. My MBA paper on tech talent, right? You're working with a generation that doesn't have the time to be waiting for you to be ready. No.
And they don't have any intentions of staying within the company for 10 years.
No,
guys,
zero.
We're moving. 5 years later, I must be out of this place.
You've been here for 200 years. That's great. Good for you. But here's Namhla CC Incorporated. They've been here 2 years. They're willing to give me flexi time. They're paying me more. They're working with the latest technology. Bye.
Cheers.
Out of here.
And that worries me in terms of this greater South African context in our economy because we've been so reliant on these big corporates to sustain the economy because Lord knows our government is doing well. But now, if they don't keep up with the trend in terms of technology is here and it's not going nowhere.
And the ironic thing is, these big corporates, from an external, when you're sitting outside looking at them, you think they're the ones pushing the innovation, right? But they are such giants that moving
Hard to change.
it's
Moving
tough,
is hard.
right?
Look, there's
I was so surprised to find out that banks still use some old
legacy.
system.
There's a legacy system behind
old
what you
system.
see.
Yes.
I was actually going to go into that. Oguti, we see the two biggest, well, they're not the biggest, but they're the most popular insurance companies now. Because of their quick turnaround time, their automation, being naked, and then what's that other? Pineapple. How is that shaking the insurance? And then how often, and then what does that mean for your job? Are you constantly going into divisions trying to become and yeah?
I think what a lot of these big corporates are missing for me is, and that's cross-cutting, right? Let's just put insurance out. Let's just say finance institutions. And the ones that do get it right are the ones that have a research and development unit where you get to try out these things, right? And a lot of big corporates or companies that have got it right internationally, if you look at, I don't even know their likes, but like all of the big companies internationally that have gotten this whole concept of trial and error, you have done it using a research and development unit, right? So the mistake that a lot of big financial institutions make is to want to keep up with the trends and keep up with the Kardashians, forgetting you're working with like skeletons, 1920, my love. My love.
You just don't have that.
You need these tech junkies to come in and put them in one room and be like, okay, this is the layer of the land. Figure out, let's see how your mind can work. Okay, this is what we think. Let's try it out on this division. Okay, it doesn't work, we take it out. If it works, we tweak it up, we improve it. Let's roll it out to another division and another division and another division. But instead of doing that, we are so ready to, because our competitor has a mobile app, let's all have
a mobile app. Apps for no reason.
Yeah.
And then
like just for the sake of apping.
And when you sit with these divisions and you go to management and you make recommendations, are they binding? And in your experience, those who have decided, which I hear what you're saying, can I do it my way? Are they less successful than those who go all in with what you're saying?
Definitely. I think leadership, right? They're fortunate or unfortunate. It's a catch-22. Leadership that has recognized that technology is here to stay, whether I like it or not. And it doesn't care whether I've been here for 20 years and I've made a legacy process work before. I'm more aware, and I'm more a leadership that is more open to Namhla coming in as young as she is to tell you as a 55-year-old plus man that this is what's going to help you succeed. I'm much more likely to be able to implement change and phased out change in a global, like in a big corporate, more than a leader who comes in. They want Namhla, but they don't really want to hear what Namhla has to say. They take bits of what suits them from what Namhla has to say, but the rest is just still them. Then what's the point?
Yeah.
And I've seen that with people who really want to hear what it is. And again, let's put it back to us, right? As continuous improvement consultants or within the tech space, we also need to learn the jargon of simplicity when it comes to business, making things sound easier. Like we need to know who needs to come to business to be able to explain things in layman's terms. You didn't do IT. Why should you have to? But let's make it sound in layman's terms to say, if you don't do this, this is what will happen and this is why it will happen, basically. And this is the impact or importance of you doing this.
A great example of of this is the company that we did a project on. If
Yes.
you remember. Don't want to mention names now, but they're a great example. And I think I spoke about that company with a friend. Shout out to Lebs. You know Lebs, right?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. We were having this conversation, this very same conversation, and we were saying the problem is that even the structures within a big corporate are set up such that it's only because for you to get to CEO or to the executive levels, right? You need to have shown competence in certain areas.
Yeah.
But those areas are not the areas that are going to take you forward. This is why even an R&D department internally is not it, because it has to report to the very same
It has
CEO.
to report to the
It
very
has to
same-
be
yeah.
a board, maybe someone of governance structure that says, I need to create an organization outside of this entire thing.
outside that
Because
can-
this bureaucracy will at
You're
some
very
point will impact
very right.
this thing that this new thing I'm trying to
because
build.
ultimately they have a say.
Exactly. They're the ones that ultimately say yes or no.
And to your point, like I feel like since I've worked in finance institutions, what guarantees my growth is how many years I've been in the damn organization more than what it is that I bring to the table.
Exactly.
And that's frustrating.
Exactly. So that's what they value. The structures value someone who has assimilated to the structure itself.
Who knows how to play the game.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to be playing a game. I'm sorry.
Yeah, look, Namhla, we could chat for 7 hours.
Yeah.
In fact, we've been chatting before the podcast started. We chatted in the podcast, but I think we have to start rounding up. And what we do is that usually we have 3 questions that we ask all our guests at the tail end of our chats.
Right.
And
So these just
take the first one.
help us see the contrasts in you. And the first question, which is my favorite, but it's
This is the feeling that everyone gets somehow. And I think it's how we
present.
because the rest of the questions
is
just are,
Yeah,
right?
we're like,
we're like, okay,
Take
we are
it
here
easy.
now. No, relax.
The wine. She just took a chunk of the wine.
You just finished the okay. It's fine.
Namhla. In your life, from Koffin Vaba to Pretoria,
To Queenstown first.
to Queenstown, to Pretoria, and
Now
to who you are now. What in your entire life journey, what has been what you would deem your biggest win?
Oh, you see why I was
bragging
nervous?
point.
My God.
Bragging point. Ungasaba bathakathi.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it hasn't even been the NBA. It wasn't the NBA.
But I think okay, it's
And
fine. We'll chat about
that's
that
what
after.
most
Yeah.
people would.
No,
Not at all. I think my biggest win was literally being able to branch out and being unapologetic about the creative side of who Namhla is. Because it's once I made that change that I was really content with me. And I realized when the two worlds don't exist or coexist, there's always going to be something missing. And I've always just tried to find that in relationships or whatever, that void before.
Yeah.
But now I know if I don't do music or I'm not being creative, I will never enjoy work. So that work-life balance for me is what equates to who I am. And that for me was probably the biggest success story that has come from all of this, which is realizing that it's okay to have a creative side. And that the two worlds can really exist.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I like that. And I think we'll discuss it after the podcast, this MBA thing. Think about the flip side now, where things didn't really work out. What was your biggest L that you ever took? And from that, what was the biggest lesson or takeaway?
Whew, I'm quite perfect, so.
You're the first one to actually admit it, because people usually struggle with the question to say L. No. You have an L. You have many L's.
Or you have many L's?
I have
many
multiple, but again, I hate to sound typical. Like all of those things are the ones that led to me being here.
Of
but
course.
Yeah.
I think this is why
that's the lesson.
This is why we prompt people to reflect
damn.
on what came out. Yeah.
the biggest lesson for me would have never been to become stupid accounting to begin with. And really just from a young age, invest in trying to figure out what is out there for me from a tertiary offering perspective. Then my spectrum would be more open to, there's things like, I don't know, brand or whatever, corporate communication or whatever it is that you can do that are somewhat businessy and have got this comms creative side of it. I was not aware. And if I could go back, that's what I would correct.
That's what you changed. No.
That's definitely what I would correct, because then I wouldn't have made that decision and I wouldn't have had to have all these other qualifications to be able to get. And I'm still not there. I think that's the frustration, because had I been there.
Continuous improvement.
Look, title. See how it fits me so well.
So the last one is, you sort of answered it, but let's go through it. If you weren't doing what you're doing now, which is the continuous improvement consulting, what would you be doing?
I think it would be like, it would be in the field of, but the benefit of having done what I've done is of now I really respect the importance of innovation and technology and being able to, and understanding that can infiltrate into any career. So I think, and we thank the MBA, corporate comms, but from a strategic lens, is something that I would love to go into, infiltrate that with a bit of marketing, because there is a creative space within business and a creative space where leadership...
Within everything, even consulting.
Within everything.
Even within consulting, there's creativity.
And a creative space in which you can really just tailor your career to be what it is you want to be. If you want to be the strategic thinker in marketing and communications, you can be. And we live in a world now where titles are not important. You can literally just create your own title, whatever makes sense to you as a title at the time. And I think that's the beauty of working for a big corporate, where, and that's where I am now, where I'm finding myself in a space that allows me to do that. And that's what I've always wanted. Even I did an MBA because I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do.
Sure.
What a reason. Same. And people don't know that, right? Some of us just don't know. We just don't know. And I think
it only starts making sense once you start looking out there, because I think that's how I happened across it as well, to say, I feel like what I'm doing is not it.
This you feel, I know.
I feel like what I'm doing is not it. And I want something that'll open up. So for me, it was about options. That's the word I use.
Yes.
Options. If after the MPA I actually find, the grass was plenty green here where I was, it still allowed me to do that, right? But if, for instance, I went into MPA and I saw there's HR and I wanted to go into HR, it gives me a license. It gives me a key to be able to unlock that side. So that was it for me. It was options.
It did, yeah. And to your point, I mean, doing the MBA just allowed me to just see which subjects I enjoyed. And again, they were more like marketing, creative subjects. The other ones I did beautifully in, that's fine. But like, I wanted to see and take marketing as a subject because I've never taken it. And
do you remember one of our lecturers? I'm not going to say his name. But he took us through, he was telling us a story about how he had a friend that did his MPA, né? And he wasn't getting the best marks in his MPA. But there were subjects that he was taking the most from. And even the ones that he was able to use afterwards, they weren't the ones that he performed best in.
No, and that's the case with me.
Yeah.
Because I was in those subjects not because I was wanting to do well academically, but I was being stimulated.
Actually, yeah.
I found them really interesting. I really did. And so the marks were not important for him.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. That is our... I don't feel like we even touched 10%.
We've not. Yeah.
So you're definitely coming back.
We end every episode like this.
Right?
Oh,
But
yeah,
it's always
and it's always
the
true.
thing, because we think, okay, no, next time we're gonna get all the questions out.
Yeah, and we just really, really struggle, you know. And then there's you, like you're such an onion. There's just so many layers to go through, you know. But thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to our viewers. Do you have any closing remarks?
Definitely. I think from my side, it's okay to be confused. Embrace the confusion, because there's growth in that. It's also okay to wake up and know what it is that you want, and that's beautiful. How I wish. But the rest of us, in the confusion, you grow. There's growth. There's failure. There's successes. There's also like there's beauty in hardships and not achieving things quickly. And we live in an era of digital and social media where you're seeing 20-plus-year-olds really making millions, and I'm okay with that. Congratulations to them. But like for me, the beauty of my journey and my ability to sit here and tell my story is because I know I can touch one person who can resonate. That was me. And for me, that helps me. That's it. The rest of us are not like that.
I feel like clapping.
I know, right? That's just a pretty face. Shout out to the millionaire.
No, thank you so much. And on that note, thank you guys for watching. And we really do appreciate your feedback so that we can continuously improve as well.
Word of the day.
We're the Continuous Improvement Podcast. We're wrapping this one up. Anyways, we are still available on YouTube, as you see it now, but also on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts. Have I finished them?
Apple Podcast.
Apple Podcast. And that's the one that I use. That's the one that I use.
Important.
But I just thought it was obvious when I said because we're a podcast.
That's it.
The Apple was implied. Later, killing the game.
Killing the game. Oh my goodness. Now we
Guys. What time is it?